So I'm sitting there watching Days of Our Lives. Argo's cuddled up next to me, and at the time we had a 2-floor house. I heard someone go up the stairs.
Okay.
No one's home. Again, no one's home. Just me and the dog. Stepping on the left to get my brothers. I heard the bathroom door open. Bathroom door closed. And then a few minutes later, the toilet flushes. The door opens and
Okay.
dog didn't budge. I was freaked the F out. I'm like, and I tell people the story, like, oh, so ghosts use the bathroom? Like, I'm not saying they use the bathroom. I'm telling you what happened. Good evening. Welcome back to the Spook Chat, episode 3, end of our third cycle. We are what, 6 weeks in now. Yay, the Hallow. We are actually filming this prior to cycle 3, full disclosure. But we're here to answer your questions and have a conversation. And we have a real treat for you guys who've been watching these last 2 Spook Chats. Miss Natalia Griffin is here. You guys might know Natalia from our previous sessions, where in the first episode we talked about the Hornet. In the second episode, we promised you floggings for Heath, which we still have to collect on. I still get a 3-point lead in our next DGS recording. Yeah, don't get spooked, Rob. Get 3 points to start, which means I basically win that episode because 3 points is sometimes all you really need. And Heath is like, think 2 games ahead, which is just intolerable at this point. No. So hi, Natalia. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rob. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. This is awesome. So Natalia is a huge fan. She watches all the things, which is great. Thank you for watching and supporting and being so amazingly awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, of course. I mean, if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't.
That's good. Good to know. The second this stops becoming fun, we lose a subscriber.
Well, I would tell you.
I know.
I'd
Well,
be like,
thank you.
Rob.
Yeah, helping out. Things are looking good, though. We have basically like reversed our number of videos and subscribers. We have 28 live videos, but at the time of this recording, we have 82 subscribers. So
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So, Miss Natalia, we talked about the first time having you on the show because I would love to hear. So if you guys recall, and we'll cut back to the first episode, we spoke about it.
My wife, she loves it. She's also in tune with the other side. So she's not like an official medium, but she literally can, I won't say talk to the dead, but she has like spiritual knowledge of the other side.
She's
all right?
very in tune.
She's very in tune.
Natalia is very sensitive to things on the other side. So I would love. I've been dying to hear. I've heard like a couple of her stories, but I've been dying to hear more because they're always like goosebump inducing.
Oh no! Don't hype me up like that.
Goosebump. I'm gonna play like really spooky music over it when you're doing it. No, but did you bring us a tale to share?
Yeah, let me go through my life.
Dig through your
extensive
files.
life. Yeah, no, I have always, ever since I was a child, have been, sensitive. Ooh.
Is that the right word for it? Like sensitive,
I
right?
don't know. I've always been, let's just say I've always been aware.
Okay.
To the point where it has never been a question that there is life after death and life before death. So I've never been one of those people who is a skeptic and needs to be convinced and needs proof.
I know a guy like that.
It's always just been like matter of fact. Like that's how life works. So and it comes and goes, and I think when you, not that it comes and goes, the ability to know or sense, I think your focus on it, you're paying attention to it or not.
Right.
So, as a child, I had experiences where I would be, like you hear a lot of kids talking to someone and playing with someone.
For sure.
And there's nobody there. I have a lot of recollections of that. Being 4, like my parents would have said like from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
But I remember more like 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
But nothing scary. It was never like, oh my God, mommy, there's a monster in my closet, or there's a dark figure here. Like, it was never like that. I don't have the experience that I think Hollywood wants you to have, where the spiritual realm is like all demons and monsters that want to like suck your soul. Like, I don't have those experiences.
Dark and foreboding.
So always been that way. Always been interested in people who can actively sort of talk to spirits who have moved on.
Intriguing.
I was always watching like, the psychic shows, like, like back in the day when they were on like, daytime TV. Yeah. When I was in college and I didn't have classes till late in the day, I would watch all these shows and just always interested. And then, had a couple of deaths. People pass away. My mom passed away.
Right.
I've had other family members pass away. I had, and then you always wonder. And then, out of grief, you want to be like, I want to talk one more time,
Yeah.
So I always known that people can do that. Like, it's never been like, oh, I don't believe. My husband Heath would say otherwise. He would,
I know that guy.
He would say like, mediums are fake, this and that, or whatever. But I have turned him around since knowing me.
Yeah.
But so my mom passed away many, many years ago, before I even met Heath.
Okay.
And before I had my son Oscar.
Right.
So sort of like, you have your kid, you have your family, and your mom's not around, and you want them so badly there. And I'm a person that I always say to my husband, I talk to my people, and when I say that, I mean my dead people. And sometimes it's out loud, and sometimes it's not. It's just, a conversation in my head.
And how does that work?
I just talk like I'm talking to you.
Like in your head?
Or in my head. Yeah. I'll just talk to them.
And they're responsive?
Well, no, it depends on what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It's not like a conversation like that. I'm not there yet. I feel that mediumship ability, that we all have it, but it is a muscle that you have to sort of exercise.
Doesn't work it.
And you have to work it. And I don't. Not because I don't want to, I don't care. I'm just, I'm busy.
Because life is hectic.
Because
life gets in the way. Yeah.
But there are times when, I have taken a course on mediumship, on how to do that. And that was, I could tell you about that. That was very awesome. But going back to my mother passing away and having my son, in our house, when he was 2 or 3, he would literally sit on the stairway between our second floor and our third floor.
Yeah.
And there's a little landing there. And he would sit there, I kid you not, for hours playing and talking. And I'd be like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And he would just be like, the lady, she's my teacher. And I'm like, who is your teacher? I don't know who he's talking about. And then, as life goes, you're looking through a family album, and he points to my mom, and he says, that's my teacher.
Oh my gosh.
Now, my mom was a teacher by trade. My mom was a teacher by trade.
Yeah.
And there's no way he could have known that, because I'm not one of those people who says and sits there, oh, let's look through all the family albums, and I'm going to point to all these people. I'm not one of those people.
Gotcha.
So, for him to just be like, oh, like, I know that lady.
Yeah.
And then also pointed to my grandmother on my mother's side.
Interesting. And
was like, I know her too. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, does Oscar remember those moments even now? Like, he goes back and like
I don't know.
You talk to him about it?
I don't know. I don't talk to him about it. And I will say this. People don't think that I'm crazy. I'm not. His room.
I'm crazy.
His room, when he was younger, really felt active.
Oh.
And not in the sense that, it's haunted, but it never felt like a settled, still, sort of peaceful place.
Right.
And I could never sort of put my finger on it because I don't feel like my house is haunted by any means.
Sure.
I don't have any of those, things like, oh, I'm not going in there. There's a demon in
Right, you feel
there.
uneasy.
I have a poltergeist.
There's a
I
demon in
don't
there.
have any of those things. But I did feel like falling asleep there. It always felt like you didn't get like a ton of restful sleep.
Right.
And I would talk to him at night about that when he was much younger. And he would say, well, he's like, my teacher. So talking about my mom.
Right.
And, and your grandma, like they come by and other people come by and I'm like, okay. And then there's a couple of nights where he would just fall asleep in our bed.
Yeah.
And not enough space. So I would just go sleep. So I would go sleep in his bedroom. And I could feel kind of like, it just feels like it's like there's a lot of people in there. It's
There's
a
an
weird
energy,
feeling.
yeah.
There's like an energy. It has since died down a lot,
Like
but
a
this is when he
portal
was
gateway.
like 3, 4.
Kinda makes sense.
He
So
was
like a
already in a big boy
magnet.
bed, so that we were there. But I've heard that a lot. That little kids, because they're closer from just having arrived from being in the spirit realm,
Right.
that they're more open to that. Like they haven't unlearned where they came from,
Right.
and so they don't know that like people that are like passed on are supposed to be scary and that they're not supposed to be here. So I that makes
That
sense.
does make sense, right?
know.
Less jarring.
And I was just so happy to hear that the person that he was playing with was my mom, and it's
Which
like,
is
and that
cool.
she's here, and
Right.
that was like a nice sort of, like very touching. Like she sees my life, and that's very reassuring.
Yeah, very comforting.
It is. It's very comforting. So it's nice. And when I say that I talk to my people, I do. People think that like, okay, your loved ones have passed on and they're gone forever, and I don't believe that at all.
Right.
I feel like spirits are around us all the time. And I feel like specifically people that loved you are still around, especially if you're thinking about them. And that's one thing that I did learn from my mediumship workshop
Tell me
was
about that in a
that
second,
that you could sort of prime yourself to dream about somebody, and they can come to you in your sleep.
Interesting.
Which is I've done it.
Okay.
And it's so you can do it so that you can, be with them sort of in your subconscious, in the spiritual realm.
Right.
But also the point is not just to do it, but that you can do it and remember the conversation, because
Right, because remembering your dreams is kind of challenging.
yeah.
Right?
So I've done that, and it works. It works. But just like with anything, it's working at it, meditation, getting yourself in a higher vibration to sort of elevate your energy and your spirit, and I have. At this workshop that I took, I have actually gotten messages from people who have passed, from people who I don't know, they're not related to me, from other people who were attending
Interesting.
the same workshop. Yeah. So
Like
that was
that's-
pretty awesome.
that is
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's possible.
Yeah. No,
And,
for sure. So it's possible to tune those skills and strengthen those skills. That's
It
interesting.
is, and when
Intriguing.
I attended that, I had all intentions to continue it, but
Yeah.
life and pandemics.
The vid.
But what it did teach me is that it's just so comforting to know. Yeah, people pass, and it's grief is horrible, and it's deep, and it's life changing.
It can be. Yeah, very much so.
But there's a great comfort, at least for me, to know that they're not really gone. They're really around.
It's hard to remember
know?
that sometimes, right? You kinda
It
feel like you've
is.
lost
It
it.
is.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's some of the stories.
Goodness.
Like I said, I talk to dead people. They don't talk back to me, but
think
sometimes,
it's
like I said,
different,
sometimes they
right?
have. They
Yeah,
have.
I was gonna say it's different, like how they communicate. It's different how they communicate, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. You can kind of sense it. They can't communicate the same way they used to. You have to be more like just open to it.
And when you're open to it, there's different ways in which you can receive messages. It's not like, oh, you're just gonna have a conversation. No, like, there's different. They call them the 5 clairs.
Okay.
So like,
The 5 clairs.
yeah. So like clairvoyance, clairaudience,
Oh.
clairgustance, clairsentience, and I forget what the 5th one is. So it's basically clairvoyance is you can see things or you can have visions.
Yeah.
Clairsentience, which is one of my strongest when I'm practicing and trying to, communicate, is when you have sort of impressions, things that come to you that are not of your own mind.
Right.
Impressions, feelings. Clairaudience is if you hear.
Right.
And then clairgoustience is if you can taste, and I forget the smell ones. I forget what that one's called, but you can smell smells that are not like
actually there.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or then clairgoustience is you can taste something that is not, you didn't cook, you haven't been eating it,
but you can smell it.
But yeah, so and I feel like from my workshop that you can, depending on your relationship, if it's a loved one,
right.
that they might communicate, using all of those things because they know that you might recognize them.
That's amazing. I just kind of wish they were more, I was more responsive to that. Like I know when I was younger, like I had a few experiences, which is why like when you're younger, you have experiences and that either leads you to believing in ghosts or you grow up in an environment where like, you're a skeptic all the way. Your family's skeptic, you're a skeptic, you don't believe. Ghosts are hogwash, which makes me laugh. But when I was younger, like the first experience that kind of led me to believe in ghosts, we lived in a very haunted house, and I still aspire to buy this house, the house I grew up in. Maybe one day when this all works out, I'll have enough money to buy my childhood home and move back into a haunted house. Well, not move back into it because like it's in New Jersey, like a summer home. So feeling like I can kind of like summer in New Jersey.
You want a summer in New Jersey?
I want
in
fall.
In the humid,
yeah, I don't
swampy
mind the
New Jersey
I don't mind
summer.
The humid. I don't mind the humid so much. I think because like growing up in Jersey, like you're like, oh yeah, it feels like home. Right?
Mm-hmm. You say that now after living 20-some odd years in California.
I don't know. We were just like before a pandemic. We went back. I took Ophelia back to my old haunts, right?
Oh,
and I took
cool.
her to see like the house I grew up in, and I actually like knocked on the door. I'm like, I wanted to see. I'm like, can I walk inside? Like, but no one was home.
Okay. I was like, what do they say?
That would have been super awkward. Like, hi, I used to live here. Can I walk through your house, please? So like in a way, I'm kind of grateful they didn't answer because like I was like bathing in nostalgia at that point. Like,
oh my
God,
God,
this is my home. Have you seen my childhood? Like, so I'm kind of in a happy in a way they didn't answer the door because Ophelia probably would have been mortified. Like, please don't go inside that stranger's home. And I felt bad because I pushed her a little bit further than I should have. I'm like, the gate's gone from when we were kids. We should walk into the backyard. She's like, baby, no. Don't, stop it. Like,
yeah, at that point, you're like breaking and entering.
I'm basically
like,
trespassing, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like walking up the driveway. I'm like, but I want to see. Is the pool still there? Like an above ground pool. I'm like trying to like get as close as I can without breaking the actual law.
Oh, Lord.
I'm so
glad
happy.
They weren't home.
I'm so happy nobody was home because they're like, call the police. There's an intruder on the grounds.
Oh no.
But that's where I had my first experience and my second one. So like, my first experience, I was very young. I was in middle school, and my stepmother, I was homesick from school, and my brothers were in school, and we had a dog, a really awesome German Shepherd named Argo. And I wasn't feeling well, and as dogs are, like Argo was like cuddling with me, like on the little couch that I was sitting on. Great dog, love Argo. It's my German Shepherd. But I love my girls. I have two awesome chocolate. But anyway, I digress. So I'm home, and my stepmother left me in charge of watching her soap operas and making like a full like report. I even remember like the day because like, it was like days of our lives.
Very important. Very
important. It was very important. So, like you have to. I had like a pen and notebook. I'm like all taking notes. And like a character had just come back from the dead, like played by the same actor. As they do in soap operas. And I remember like when she came home, she goes, oh, do you look like this? I'm like, yeah, you look just like, I can't believe, she like went off. Like, I can't believe I brought them back from the dead. I'm like, all right, whatever, just take your notes. I'm going to my room now. So no one's home. The dog is with me. I'm watching Days of Our Lives. And again, I have a fever. I'm not feeling well. So like a skeptic can probably like chalk it up to being like, oh, you had a fever. You're having fever dreams.
Yeah.
And the story itself lends it to like hogwash, but I'll tell it anyway. So I'm sitting there watching Days of Our Lives. Argo's cuddled up next to me. And at the time, we had a 2-floor house. I heard someone go up the stairs.
Okay.
No one's home. Again, no one's home. Just me and the dog. Stepping on the left to get my brothers. I heard the bathroom door open. Bathroom door closed. And then, a few minutes later, the toilet flushes. The door opens and
Okay.
dog didn't budge. I was freaked the F out. I'm like, and I tell people the story, like, oh, so ghosts use the bathroom? I'm like, I'm not saying they use the bathroom. I'm telling you what happened.
Yeah,
But people think like, oh, you're having a fever dream, you're not feeling well, you're like, but I swear by it.
Well, nobody else was there, so.
There's no, I know, there's no proof though. That's like I'm gonna say that. I have no like backing force. No one else was there to like back up my story. So people are like, ghosts don't use the bathroom. They wouldn't flush the toilet. I'm like, if it were an energy, right, and they were used to doing a thing, I don't know. I don't want to explain it, but that was the story. Like the very first time I encountered a ghost. Second time, same house. This does actually involve trespassing.
So you have already trespassed on that property. You have a history, Rob.
I do. I'm so happy no one knows the address.
Well.
No, do you know the address? No one knows the address. Only people who know me will know where I grew up. And they'll know about the story because we grew up together. So years and years later, my family had moved out of the house. We had moved, I think, to like Kenilworth at the time. And I was visiting an old friend who used to live like right behind our house across the street. And being kids, we were like young teenagers, like 13, 14. Let's go check out the old house. And so we do. And we go to the old house. At the time, when my family lived there, we put up a fence that kind of like blocked the backyard away from the people. Because we had dogs, right? We had the dogs in the backyard.
Yeah.
Really thing. I'm assuming the family that moved in after us tore that fence down. So we could just into the backyard. This is how I knew with Ophelia that I wouldn't get caught. I'm like, oh, I've tread this ground before. We're good. Only as adults, you can actually have the police call it on you. So anyway, so my friend Russell, my brother Will, and I walk up. I'm all incriminating them now. We walk up into the house.
Taking everybody down with you, Rob.
They're all coming down with me. And we walk into the backyard, and I'm all like taking everything. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to live here. This is great. And Russell starts like tapping on my shoulder. I'm like, what, man, what? I'm thinking like someone's home, like we're totally effed. Mm-hmm. We all turn around, and in the very like top window in the bedroom where someone actually did die that we know of, there she is.
Oh my God! So you saw like a full body apparition?
Full apparition,
what?
like hollow eyes, totally freaky. We saw a full-on apparition, and again, like it's one of those things like where people are like, well, somebody was obviously home. Like, no, I recognize the person. She's literally not here anymore. Right? We were there the night she passed away. I know who she is.
Oh, wow.
She passed away in my room, so we saw her. And being like the Scooby-Doo gang, we just like, jinkies, zoinks! Just skedaddled out of there because we were all just freaked the heck out.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's the only other time I've ever seen something concrete. But again, we were young, right? We were young. I mean, not as young as like I was originally, but
yeah. But I mean, at least it wasn't just you. You had two other people who saw the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So you actually had like the first time I was alone. The second time, not so much. So yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna tell more spooky stories in the after show. So because we do have a handful of comments, we're gonna go over some fan comments and kind of like Spook and Hallow announcements, and they're gonna wrap up, and then we're gonna start back up again for the after show. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So as always, like last time, I didn't write this on paper because I'm trying to be, world conscientious. All right. So one day when we're in the metaverse, you'll be grateful because there'll be plenty of trees there.
I'm telling you, you need to stay in this universe, Rob.
Oh, I'm just teasing. The metaverse is such a weird thing. Like we can get into that in the after show too. But the metaverse reminds me of like a really poorly made movie. Okay, so we're gonna do comments from the last episode of Local Haunts. So
yeah.
All right, so comments from that show. This one makes me laugh. So his name is Rob. My name is obviously Rob. My son's friend Camden quoted, "Rob is my favorite." I'm like, which one, dude? I mean, our friend Hobby is the cameraman. I actually want to find a cameraman named Rob. Not I want to fire Hobby. Hobby's great. But
so you'd be like Rob, and Rob.
Rob. The three Robs, right? Triple R's.
Like Ed, and Eddie. Remember that cartoon?
Rob, and Robbie. Yeah, Rob, and Robbie. So the next comment comes from Miss Christy Heron. She says, "Great episode. I watched this one in broad daylight while making breakfast, but it was still super spooky. My toast popped unexpectedly, and I went, eek!" Which is like the best compliment ever. If a toaster makes you jump, we've done good. We've done good if your toast makes you kind of freak out. But a lot of funny ones like Ophelia said, so spooky, you guys. My brother said, what a great episode. Javi was still kind of like lamenting the fact that it was a scary night. And we have some weird guy on there who like always makes the same comment no matter what.
What's the comment?
His name is Fred, and every time like we have a video, the same comment. Can you believe it, you guys? Spook and Hallow. That's all it says every time.
Okay.
Can you believe it, you guys? Spook and Hallow. So thanks, Fred. We acknowledge you. We appreciate you chiming in, whether it be the same comment every time. We appreciate your enthusiasm. Keep up the good work, Fred.
Should get a T-shirt. Can you believe it, guys?
I should make a T-shirt.
Fred.
Fred, reach out. We can coin your term. It's like, Fred. That is actually really good. We should do that. This one made me laugh. So the next one was our most recent Tales of the Macabre. That starred my friend Taff with the guitar, which I think of all the stuff we filmed so far, produced-wise, that's my favorite episode. So in the episode, I have Sarah's precursor, her introduction to the episode. And in the episode, the lead-up is that Taff is staying at an Airbnb because he had just flown in for a gig, and an untrusty airline lost his guitar. And Taff's like, an untrustworthy airline. An untrusty airline.
I'm just going with the whole Spook and
Must have been
Hallow.
Spirit Airlines. I'm like, clever, although possible. And the next one from Miss Christy Heron again. I love it. She said, spooky. I like the mix of pleasant music followed by abject terror, which I love to hear. I love to make people feel the abject terror. It's so good.
So I watched
gratifying.
the one with the homicidal twin episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I came here where you filmed it.
Yeah. Not on the set, but you understand.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah. Did it freak you out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all like, where's the switch to the bathroom?
I'm gonna
Is somebody gonna be standing there?
The next time you come, I'm gonna make Ophelia follow you around the
No,
house
how dare
with
you?
her hair.
I'm never
with her
coming
hair,
back.
with her hair over her head. I'm just gonna make her follow you around.
No, but I totally had flashbacks. Like I came in tonight and I was like, I have to go to the restroom, and I was
that's
like, oh, it's
awesome.
kind of dark in here, and I had the flashbacks of like, you know, Ophelia with the thing. I was like, oh, where's the light? Where's the light?
Oh my gosh.
No, like like I'm just like
You
you
might-
guys have that big window and like it's just all dark out there. It was the premise that somebody was staying at like a place that's not familiar to them. I feel like I did a lot of that between high school and like right out of high school, like in college.
Yeah.
And like that feeling for me is very palpable. So that was like, I don't like staying in other people's places. You don't know what's right outside.
Okay.
You don't know the
Awesome.
noises.
That makes me feel good about
you know? So it's just like,
Yeah.
so it gave me, that's why I'm like, I don't house sit. I don't like I don't stay in other people's spaces unless they're there. Like I don't do it.
You don't house sit unless you're there. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, like, I don't go spend the night at somebody's house or go by just to check on things. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not the one. Like, unless I go in the middle of the
daytime?
day, yes,
Yeah,
I will
sure.
go, pick up your mail and stuff, but I'm not going in your house at dusk,
That
early
actually
dawn, at night.
Gives
I'm
me
not.
a good question
No,
for the after show. I'll ask you about that.
I can't do it.
Well, you know what actually makes me feel good? That it creeped you out and it creeped a bunch of other people out. So like when I made that episode and I cut the episode and I'd watch it and 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 watch it until I actually like lost its meaning. I am actually super self-conscious about like one part of that episode. So let me ask if you feel this way, because you've seen it, but being like painfully honest, to me, the second act is a little too abrupt because it goes like from the first act where Tina like hangs up the phone and you cut to the backyard where spooky Ophelia is hanging out being a little creeper. And then you cut to the next scene and immediately gets into like there's a person inside my home, right? Where she sees a person on the corner of the eye in the hallway, right? Did that seem too abrupt to you? Like when I'm upon like repeat viewings, because there was a whole scene in there that I cut out.
It did not seem abrupt.
Okay, good.
It just seemed like, it was like the tension was being like
jumped out.
fast forwarded.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. That's what I felt too. It was a little fast forwarded.
And I also felt like you could just draw it out a little longer.
Yes.
Like towards the end, I was like, wait, that's it? I wanted more.
See, that's good. Always even wanted more. There was one scene I cut out that we filmed, but then I realized after we filmed Heath's short that there's a scene in Heath's short which is very, very similar to the other one, so I cut it out. And Heath's short needs it because Heath is going to be, his short's probably one of the shorter ones, and I need every minute I can get in there to make YouTube's. No, Heath's not short, which made it very difficult to film him on film day. Because his head was constantly breaking frame. I'm like, wait, stay there. Got to back up. It's very much yeah. That one's coming in about a month, though. We're almost there for
I'm
Heath's
excited.
short. Yeah, let's see. So this week, 3 weeks. Heath's in 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm actually super excited, too. So that's out at the editor right now. The editor's working on it. So I'm actually really excited to see how it comes back. Yeah, man. Gonna be a star in 3 weeks.
He's already a star.
He is. He's our DGS fanboy. That's awesome. My guy. That's my dude right there. Itches. Oh, we have to talk about that too, actually, from the last episode of the Spook Chat. You know, Heath's man spreads. He almost spit out
It wasn't so much that
coffee.
he was, you know,
The man
spreading.
spreading. It
It's
was
just
the Daisy
like-
Dukes.
yeah. I mean, I just noticed. I'm like, that's a lot of leg there. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on there, Mister? That's a lot of leg.
You know what? Sex appeal sells. Sex sells. Heath, you're good, man. Gonna be a grinder superstar coming up here, man. Gonna be a sex symbol. That's cool. I mean, the more people we can get to enjoy Don't Get Spooked, the better. I love that show.
Well, I noticed it because, you know, like, there's part of his legs that are like tanned, and then like when you get closer up, because his shorts when he's standing up are like they're knee length.
There's a color break.
Yeah, you know, when he was sitting there like you sit and your pants and your shorts like right up a bit, and I was like, what's with all this flesh?
going
This
on?
like light flesh. Like, what are you
It
doing?
was showing off for me. I said, I wanna press forward with my storytelling skills and my creamy legs.
Was it a distraction?
Oh, there you go.
Thing so that to get her
It
to
is a
mess
game
up.
show, right?
Yeah, it is a game show.
I love that show. That show's so much fun to film, though. That show's great. You should try it one time. Come on with us.
We'll see.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's the thing. I'm all like, I'm good at storytelling, but I got to think about it. Like, I can't be like.
That's half the challenge. You have to be on the spot, right?
Okay.
And you can always do what Heath does when like you don't know what to say. Like go, it's like a little like off story. Make your own little story, then come back and make me like leave me go like. Just make me going, what just happened? Where did we go? Although I noticed something when I was editing Don't Get Spooked episode 2, which just made me laugh and laugh every time I watched it. When I wrote the card, it was, what was it? It was a strapping young farm boy with a secret named Clark. And intended for the character to be named Clark, not the secret to be named Clark.
Yeah, I thought that was. Like,
So when
a
he
little
read the card,
confusing.
he read it basically as it was written. Like he's like, Rob, your poor grammar will now be on display. Let's. I'm gonna show off your poor grammar for the world to see and make you feel foolish and make you feel like in the moment, like, what do I do with this? A secret named Clark. But he worked it. He made it work.
And I thought it was like kind of cool. Like, oop, I should start naming
What
my
is
secrets
Clark?
too.
I know, right? Because that's the opposite effect of what you think would happen. They're like, oh yeah, this one's now called Steve.
Yeah, I'll be like, now we don't talk about Naomi. You know, like. Right?
All right, you guys, this has been a lot of fun. I think we've gone into a lot of great things. In the after show, we'll pick up where we left off. A couple of quick announcements. There's still a little sale going on for the rest of November. 31% off all Spook and Hallow merchandise with the code. We'll put it down below the code, but I believe it's Crush Halloween. And what else? I think that's about it. Holidays are coming up. We have some Christmas episodes coming up for the holidays.
Oh, really?
We do. We have a Christmas horror episode. We have a Christmas Don't Get Spooked. And we're trying to get a Christmas local haunt. So we're putting it together. We're going to see how it works. But thanks as always for joining us for the Spook Chat. And if you're a patron on Patreon, you get a whole... Man down! You get a whole huge Come here, Edgar. Edgar. Stop. Speaking. So, after show, what do you think? After show? Yeah, after show. Become a patron. You have to watch more of our awesome spooky stories. We're going to tell some more stories, and Edgar's going to try to pull himself together. At least less apart. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.
So you know how, well, I'm sure if you guys watched, the other Spook Chats that, my husband's like, yeah, my wife doesn't let me go to places that are supposedly haunted.
I was hoping we'd get to it.
Well, the reason for that, it's not really because I think something will attach and haunt me or a demon. It's nothing like that.
It has nothing to do with the shirt of Cthulhu?
No. I happen to think that those type of deities don't wear t-shirts, so there you go.
Are you sure? There's like Cthulhu's have like a gym shirt that says Cthulhu's gym, yeah!
Just go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the message being gone away, because spirits are very, 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 very insistent. And they will not let you go until you communicate what it is they're trying to say. And I am sitting across this lady, don't even remember her name or anything.
Right, of course.
But I guess because she's sitting right across from me, so she's in my direct sight line. But I had my eyes closed, I'm doing this. And then when they got to me, like, hey, do you have anything? And I was like, for real? I said, there is a gentleman standing right here to my left. He's an older guy, but he has longer hair. He is very happy that you're here. And I said, and I was pointing to this lady, and I said, and he is missing a part of his pinky on his right hand. And he wanted to let you know that you're like in the right path. Like, this is a good thing that you're doing. She starts to cry, and she says, that's my uncle so-and-so, and he's like my father. Like, I grew up with him.